Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Ryder on the storm. A U.S. Mint Director's legacy. Let's explore. You know, oftentimes a directorship or a term in office, there's an obituary that is written afterwards. And, a eulogy is usually something positive after something dies, whether it be a term in office or someone who has passed away. But in this case, we're talking about a legacy of a term of office that the United States Mint Director had, and that is David J. Ryder. You may remember on this channel I covered David J. Ryder's nomination process and his background ad nauseum, and was pretty excited about what could have been with his legacy. Turns out that it is the exact opposite. We're referencing an article here on the Monday Morning Brief from CoinWorld.com. Ryder departs the Mint. His term ended on October the 1st, and he had a hearing on October the 24th, 2017. There you have it, and 4 years, and not much to say for it. It is accurate to say that collectors in general welcomed the news that he was stepping down as Mint Director October the 1st. One collector's pithy comment on CoinWorld's Facebook page sums up the collector reaction. Good riddance, indeed. Ryder came to the directorship of the Mint with an impressive biography. A previous term as Mint Director, he served 14 months via recess appointment during the administration of President George H.W. Bush, and more than a decade's work with a company that provides covert and forensic security features for the authentication of currency. I'm going to stop right there because that is a record that I think is something that is praiseworthy and laudable. Now, with that kind of record and that kind of a background, you would think, boy, we're going to get some really good security features. And though it's not currency, but nonetheless, more than likely, utilizing the technology and features that other mints are doing, he could have expounded from not only his experience, but other Mint's experiences in this area. The article continues. Indeed, during his second term as Mint Director, to his credit, the Mint finally acknowledged that the counterfeiting of U.S. coins was a significant problem and took the first small steps towards fighting the counterfeiting of American Eagle bullion coins. Now, that is an overly positive statement for sure, especially with an overly emphasized, first small steps. To acknowledge that counterfeiting of U.S. coins was a significant problem is a no-brainer. And you're right. The author is exactly right here, that the Mint's final acknowledgement of it as well. Hey, that's the first step, is admitting there's a problem, right? That's exactly right. But when the first small steps, I would say just one small step, and it is only on one sized coin. And that one small step is one small missing read. Hardly a anti-counterfeiting technology or feature for the American Eagle bullion coins. And obviously it's on the silver coin as well, but not on the fractional coins. And even as such, it's not a security feature at all. There's been no evidence that the U.S. Mint has pointed to that is in any way a security feature that couldn't be recreated by some nefarious actor overseas or even domestically. However, many are likely to remember Ryder's return to the Mint as an era in which dealers were perceived to have been given the priority over collectors in acquiring a Mint plethora of limited edition, high-demand, numismatic, and bullion products. Whether by the Mint's failure to respond quickly to the use of bots or by buyers during product launches, or by establishing the authorized bulk purchase program, which allows dealer participants to purchase select products before they go on sale to the public. You want to talk about being tone deaf? That was the tone deaf act of his tenure, and apparently it was something to try to help with his high demand, and it totally backfired. And even one member of the authorized bulk purchase program, who I've talked about in a previous video as outlined by Coin World, said it's not really all what it leaves up to be. It's not the thing that it really doesn't help those dealers either. When a new mint director takes office, hobby leaders and mint officials need to collaborate on improving decision making on such things as setting mintage, product limits, and household purchase limits, on the role of bulk dealers in marketing numismatic products, and on combating abuses by customers during online sales. And I think that not only that, but they need to look at quality control issues as well, because finning, that's Finning, many people mishear when I say finning. They think I'm saying thinning. It's with an F, not TH. But that is a massive problem, as well as, by the way, not only for the bullion buffaloes, but also for high relief gold coins as well. There is an issue with the finning, and not only that, even more importantly, is off-centered strikes. There's no excuse for the mint to produce off-centered strikes, not only in its bullion coins, which I don't care how many millions are stamped out. The Royal Canadian Mint doesn't have a problem with this. Neither do the Austrian Mint with their Philharmonics. Those are exacting perfection in terms of being centered strikes for the Philharmonics. But also the Perth Mint, the Royal Canadian Mint, among many others, don't seem to have an issue with this. And the milk spotting issue is becoming much more of a problem now than in recent years before the pandemic, by the way. And I think it is because of probably the pandemic why the detergents aren't being fully rinsed off before the planchets are annealed. They need to work to correct that problem. The Royal Canadian Mint was horrible for this, but finally in 2018 they rectified that issue, because they heard from those of us who collect bullion or who stack, and we want coins that are going to look nice and be exactly for what they are, and look like silver coins, not with these blotchy milk spots on them. The Type 2 Silver Eagles I've seen, and others, milk spots is starting to become a problem here at the United States Mint. And the other thing is these security features. I cannot say just how much of an absolute failure the United States Mint has been with their security features with their products. And we know it's a failure, because why would you put it on just the 1 ounce gold coin and not on the fractionals? And why just a missing read with no explanation as to what it is, no explanation about the secondary and covert features? At least mention them to a point to give us some idea, because those have no semblance of any teeth to be able to force these measures if most of those are coming from China. The whole reason that these anti-counterfeiting technologies should exist is to be them easily recognizable when you cannot prosecute when it happens in a foreign country, which is, by the way, their government anyway, is essentially an enemy of the United States. But that's a whole another discussion, and that was one of the biggest failures of Ryder's term, in my opinion, is the anti-counterfeiting measures that he put in, the so-called anti-counterfeiting measures for the American Eagle bullion coins. The other is this ABPP that angered a lot of collectors out there for the mint's products issued. And obviously what exacerbated that problem is these arbitrary mintage and product limits that were put on these coins, making 2021 the most frustrating and also the most collectible of the United States Mint's history. In the entire history of the United States Mint, you have this year, 2021, the most limited edition, limited product limits ever in the history of the United States Mint, with so many offerings this year. And so therefore there's been a lot of mad dash, almost on a bi-weekly basis, it seems like, for some periods of time, for these products, only to be met with a website that does not perform, and you have these ABP purchases that are done to these dealers and the likes. The article closes out. Most importantly, Mint officials need to work hard at restoring public trust in its operation of numismatic public sales. Failing to take seriously the many complaints of collectors would only ensure a declining customer base. That is very, very true, and I think that's an apropos tip for the United States Mint officials. They cannot be tone deaf any longer, and there's a reason why some of these, they have these forums, and they should continue when they get actual people from the public to take part, not just bullion dealers or industry folks or what have you, or people of the ANA or whatever. Get regular collectors in there, people who actually buy from the Mint, who have bought from the Mint for years. In fact, you can even look, in the United States Mint could do a lottery system where they look at people's purchase history of accounts and people who've been buying for quite some time. Let's say, like someone like me who's been buying literally online from the United States Mint since 1999. That's how long I've been buying from the United States Mint on their website. But there's many others that are like me out there who can give them some sage advice. And that's another thing too, as far as being tone deaf. They have done an absolute horrible job on pricing their products, where they've literally almost doubled their prices for some of these products, while doubling the price of some products, almost in some cases. The quality of the packaging has gone downhill big time. Big problem with OGP at the United States Mint with their government packaging. And there's a consistency of the packaging that has been profound from the United States Mint for all intents and purposes since 1983. Probably 86 is probably when it really started to kind of become more consistent, because there's been some variations for the commemorative program. It's going to be very interesting to see if and how that will change in 2022. There was a big change several years ago when they made the packaging more compact, but the quality of the packaging remained the same. And I applauded that measure, but nonetheless, if they decide to change the packaging to the cheap stuff they have got now, the generic black boxes with the very cheap plastic inserts that are flimsy and whose slots are too small for the coins to fit in, well, they've got a big problem for collectors out there when you're paying a lot more for a coin and you're getting less for your money. How does that make sense? For the one government agency who actually turns a profit each year, whose proceeds are actually poured into or trickled into the national revenues or the general funds of the Treasury. In other words, with every coin you buy, any profits, they actually go to pay down the United States Mint's debt, which, by the way, is saying very, 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 very to the 17th power little of an effect on the national debt. But regardless, at least it's something, and the Mint's got a lot of work to do. The acting director, I hope that she will come in and make some changes, some good changes, although she's been part of the institution. Essentially, based off of her record, it sounds like she's a swamp dweller in some regards. I know that's a pretty negative term, but regardless, somebody who's been entrenched in that bureaucracy for so long doesn't give us a whole lot of hope, that's for sure. They call that the term the deep state, and the deep state can transcend beyond policymakers. We've got organizations that some of us interact with on a monthly basis for our collecting needs, and this happens. Now, again, it's one of those things where people say, well, just don't buy from the United States Mint. Well, the thing is, the United States Mint is unique in its offerings for coins, especially if you are continuing a collection. If you are an American Silver Eagle collector and a collector of all the different types of American Silver Eagles, there's only one place to go. If there's a particular coin that you're interested in, such as the Morgan and Peace dollars for the anniversary, a lot of people have been excited about those. There's only one place you can go to get them. Otherwise, you're paying a very high premium on the secondary market. If you are a collector of proof modern commemorative coins, as I have been religiously since I started collecting and going back and buying all the backdated stuff, paying high premiums for some of that stuff then. Of course, now that market's tampered down a bit, but nonetheless, if I want to get the coins, got to get them from the United States Mint, or wait for 3 years for the prices to subside and get it on the secondary market, not knowing what condition the coins could be in, such as hazing or damaged packaging. You got to go to the United States Mint if you're a collector. I'm a collector, and so therefore that's who I've got to work with. So this is why I'm vocal about these things. We need to see change for the positive, and my hope is it will happen with this acting director, but it better happen by the new U.S. Mint director, or else there's going to be more people, and potentially like me, who is going to really consider scaling back some of my collecting and just prioritizing other collections. We'll see how it plays out, but that is my take on top of Coin World's take on the tenure of David J. Ryder. He's like a dog without a bone, and that bone was the United States Mint. What will he do now? Well, I think he just should enjoy retirement and just to chalk it up as a loss. For me, I'm going to keep collecting and keep speaking out. My criticism of the United States Mint is meant to be totally and 100% constructive. And why? Because I want them to do better as an agency. And they've done a lot of good stuff, and they've had some good directors in the past. People have done some good things. So I'd like to see them return to an area where there's good customer service and a quality product. That's important. That's key. A trusted quality product. They have failed in all of those areas under Ryder's leadership. Sad to say, but it is a fact. So there you have it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.